Tiara with Home Slice Adulting, and tonight I am bringing you a review for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 3, Episode 11. If you guys see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes, and I also bought a lighting set, like lighting equipment. I'm still trying to figure out how to kind of use it, but because I really hate this shadow that's behind me, but whatever, I'm gonna figure it out eventually, and my videos are gonna look super nice. So anyways, let's get started with the review. So Ray J and Princess, first we start off with Ray J being fitted for his tux at the tailors or wherever he is, and he has this gold sash on, just like just like in Coming to America, and I'm like, I can't believe he actually did that. But whatever, it's very Ray J, and so, you know, you want your wedding to have your own personal flair, so I get it. Did any of y'all see the tailor's assistant who had like a gray finger wave? I did not like it. That looked terrible to me. To me, it looked like he was trying to look like Jadena, because, you know, Jadena, the singer, is he a rapper or a singer? I don't even know. But Jadena has the red hair, like Red from the 5 Heartbeats, whatever his name was, and he has the little finger wave and the red hair. And it looked like the guy with the gray hair was trying to do the same thing, and I hated it. So anyway, did anybody else notice that? But let's see what's next. I really don't like the fact that Sonya is rejoicing at Ray J and Princess having you know, issues. I mean, from what I have heard, you know, Sonya's husband, Mr. Willie, had children outside of their marriage. Now, I can't verify that because I don't know that for sure, but that's what I have heard. And I think it would have probably hurt her if somebody rejoiced at them having those type of problems. So yeah, I'm not fond of that. But it is good that he has a supportive dad, that he has somebody in his corner. And his dad seemed really happy about getting some grandchildren out of that union. So next we have Princess, Brandy, and her bridesmaids at the fitting for the bridesmaids dresses, and Brandy is wearing this headdress, and I'm like, what is up with Brandy? What the heck is she doing? It's funny that Brandy really thinks that she knows Miss Sonya so well, to the point where Princess to where she thinks that she can tell Princess how Miss Sonya feels about her. And Princess is like, she basically told me to my face that she doesn't want us to get married and that she doesn't like me. And Brandy just seems so taken aback. And that's how you can tell that the girl doesn't have a clue. But yeah, that's Brandy for you. So anyways, it's interesting that now Princess wants a prenup, but I 100% think that she should definitely get it. Especially when she said that the last time that Princess and Ray J broke up, he bought the rights to her name. Like, that's some manipulative, beyond petty type stuff, to the point where you would be like, oh, I own your name now, I basically own you. Like, that's it. While it seems like a Ray J thing to do, it seems like the lowest of the low. Like, really, it actually really irks me and really bothers me and makes me uncomfortable for Princess. So I really think that she should do that, since he's shown in the past how conniving he can be. And can somebody tell Brandy that prenup, the shortened form of prenuptial, doesn't have a T at the end? She kept saying prenup, which annoyed the crap out of me. But anyways, I thought it's very weird. I've heard a lot of people say, and I agree with the fact that Princess does not have a lot of friends. I'm under the impression that she doesn't have a lot of friends because she's not the type of girl that you would want around your man. But I'm guessing since this other girl, whatever her friend's name was, who she was talking with about the prenup, they were friends since junior high, and that may have been pre-thought days for Princess. So maybe that's why they're still friends. But so next we have a scene with Max and Brandy. They're driving around in this car. I don't know what type of car it was, but it looked nice. It was not that Hummer from the first season that they were on, season 2. Whatever car it was a luxury car, and it was very nice, and I liked it. Go ahead and make that money, Max and Brandy. And I don't care what none of y'all say. I don't talk about Max's teeth or anything like that. I feel like if people are 100% fine with the way they are, he has a wife that loves him, a child that loves him, he don't need to do nothing to himself. So you know what, do what you want to do, Max, okay? So I thought it was interesting how Max said that he wouldn't be a real friend if he didn't tell Fizz about Brandy and Princess's evil plans to release a sex tape of Moniece. And how, you know, he felt like they should have a clean conscience and how they should both be the bigger person. And then he asked her, what would Beyonce do? Like, like she's the model to go after. Like, what would Jesus do? That's the standard, but now the new standard is what would Beyonce do? Okay. But, and he was saying, you know, the only thing you need to do is be a bridesmaid and stay out of it. And I thought it was real weird how Max was real quick to tell Fizz about this sex tape, but he wants Brandy to shut up about the prenup that Princess is trying to get. I mean, I will say the sex tape has a lot more weight to it, and it could be kind of, I guess, more devastating than a prenup would be. But I feel like they're kind of on the same level. You told Fizz about this sex tape that was about to be released because you didn't want to mess up your relationship with Fizz or with Fizz's son. And so now Brandy wants to tell the Norwoods about Princess planning to get this prenup so that she doesn't mess up her relationship with the Norwoods, but now she can't do it. I mean, does anybody agree with me? I feel like it's the same thing, but whatever. The next scene that we have with Princess, she is at an attorney's office, and I really think that that the talk with Sonia has opened her eyes to realize that I mean, I think Sonia and Ray J can be a little sneaky and conniving and that type of thing. We already know the type of manipulation that Miss Sonia can have on Ray J, and Princess has already experienced the type of things that Ray J can do, i.e. taking the rights or buying the rights to her name and stealing her car. I think that Princess is doing the right thing now. I just think that it looks weird because initially she wasn't for it, and now just a few days before the wedding she is for it. So I don't know how that's gonna go. We'll see. So next we'll talk about Lyrica and Pam and the other Lyrica. First we start out with just little Lyrica and Pam sitting down, and Lyrica apologizes, and I think she's being very genuine. She was able to take stock of everything that happened and saw that her mom was the wrong one, and we have always known that, you know, her mom was the wrong one, but when it's your mom, I guess you really can't see it, especially when you have the type of relationship or bond that they have, you know, being mother and only child. So anyways, Pam knows what's up with the Lyricas. She's very clear on, you know, Mama Lyrica trying to control her daughter's life or trying to live through her. And Pam, you know, is very aware of the type of relationship that they have. And I thought that it was very weird, and it kind of seemed like a setup that little Lyrica would want Pam to ride with her. I thought that was very odd, but whatever. So the next scene, we see Pam and little Lyrica pulling up in Big Lyrica's car next to Lyrica inside of A1's Jeep. And Big Lyrica just had a fit. And I mean, if somebody corners me in a car, I'm coming out swinging. Pam, either this was scripted, which we're not going to say it's scripted because in my reviews, everything is real in reality TV. Just like that. So anyways, Pam did a good job if this was in fact real and not beating up Mama Mama Lyrica. But it was just funny, the smile on Pam's face when she pulled up. And little Lyrica is very over it. She's over her mom inciting stuff, and this is a clear case of big Lyrica taking things out of proportion. And the whole thing, when they finally kind of calmed down, she was like, you know, I'm still very upset about some of the things you said, Pam, and you know, it's a process, and I was like, how many people say that? It's just a big lie. It's a process. It's just an excuse for me to not get over it as quickly as I could. I mean, I think people really do have the capacity to forgive and forget, but they just don't want to. It was good to see that they kind of hugged it out, and we kind of saw big Lyrica soften up, which was a little weird. Actually, we saw her soften up, and she gave Pam a hug, and then they started arguing again real quick, and then little Lyrica just smushed them back together and was like, give her another hug, which I thought was funny. So it was good to see them, especially Pam, really you know, not get on the defensive or anything. And sometimes you just have to be the bigger person. And then big Lyrica started to soften up as well, and she was like, you know, we're the moms, we're supposed to be the mature ones. So it was just really good to see. So next we'll talk about Hazely and Tiara. Now, Hazely, I was not expecting to see her back. I heard about some stuff that had happened at the reunion, but I wasn't expecting to see her on the show. But whatever, Hazely actually looks pretty good. I think she's made consistent improvement as far as her look goes, from the first season up until now. And while some of that, or a lot of that, has had to do with her plastic surgery and that type of thing. I mean, you do with your body whatever you want to do with your body. So I think she does look good. I think she is overstating it when she says she has a popping record, because I don't know it. Does anybody else know it? But if you look in the confessional, you can see she has a scar on her nose right there. But when she was talking to Tiara in person, you couldn't see it. So maybe she just didn't put enough makeup on. But it does look like she has some scarring from her last nose job, which I'm going to assume is the one from the Dubai trip. So anyways, I really think that Hazely and Tiara's friendship is very weird. I think it's very off and on, and I really think that Hazely only returned to Tiara's life for two reasons. One is to be nosy about Tiara's impending court case, and two, to have some type of segue to get back at Maseca. And I guess to do it publicly via the Love and Hip Hop show. So, the whole social media thing, I don't really participate in that per se. I live tweet Black Ink Crew, and I live tweet Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, even though I didn't get to live tweet this episode because I was on my way home from work. I did I also live tweet some other stuff, but I don't pay attention to social media Twitter beef, especially between reality stars. And the whole thing about Fetty Wap, and what I will say is Maseca seemed to have drawn first blood. I think she feels way too involved with things that involve Fetty Wap, and I was like, Fetty and Maseca can't agree on when he can come see the baby, but they can agree on being petty towards Hazely. So you guys can come together, just not for the right reasons, whatever. That bothered me way too much. But for Maseca to we'll talk about that later when we talk about Maseca actually. But I thought that Maseca drew first blood, and and Hazely just got her back real hard. Just said, oh, that's not Fetty Wap on your song. Oh, that might not be Fetty Wap's baby. That was hilarious to me. I think that was a good retort from Hazely. Even though we all know that that's Fetty Wap's baby, it was just a really good retort. But it was funny to me how Tiara was like, let's go get something to eat. I know how it is being a big girl. You get hungry. So yeah, so next we have Nikki, Tiara, and Andrew. I think that their concern for Tiara is genuine. I think that they care more about Tiara than she appears to care about herself. She said there was a misunderstanding and she showed up to court late and ended up with a bench warrant. So for those of you who don't know, you get a bench warrant when you don't show up to court. So from what I gather from putting the pieces together is that she was late to court, like she said, and because she was late, it made it seem like that she wasn't there at all, and she got a bench warrant for not being there when she was supposed to have been there. I really don't think it was a misunderstanding, because when they were at this makeup store or the mall, wherever they were, Tiara was late. And Nikki even said she's always late. So she showed up late to the courthouse and, you know, got a bench warrant and had to go turn herself in the next day and was in jail for 6 hours. Which brings us to the next scene where Nikki, Tiara, and Andrew were all waiting for her when she got bailed out. And you know, it's really good to have friends that are there for you. And Tiara didn't have any makeup on, which is usually what happens when you go to jail. You have to take it off. And she looked good. The issue is I really don't think that she cares about herself as much as she should, or as when it comes to facing the consequences of her actions. I think that she has friends that really do care about her, but she's just kind of in a self-destructive mode, and she just got to get to where she needs to be. So yeah, next we'll talk about Maseca and Moniece. They're at, I'm assuming, Maseca's house, and Moniece says that when Fizz told her that it was a rapper that had the sex tape of her, something clicked in her head and was like, oh, that's Philip. Now, she said they ended their 2-year off and on relationship as friends, so she doesn't know why he would do something like this to her as far as leaking a sex tape. And so, look, the funniest quip of the show goes to Maseca for calling Hazel E Nasal E. That was so funny to me. It's hilarious, and it's like probably one of the funniest, you know, quips on the show, one of the funniest nicknames on the show. So the whole story about her asking Fetty Wap was he on Hazel E's song and him not even really knowing who Hazel E was. I don't care. Nobody should care. Who cares? I mean, if she's using Fetty Wap's name without his permission, he can definitely, you know, take legal action or whatever. But from my standpoint, it has nothing to do with Maseca. Maseca shouldn't have said nothing. And how can you and Fetty Wap agree on something and kiki about something when y'all don't even know, can't work out a appropriate time for him to come see his daughter? Shut up. Whatever. Anyways, moving on, we have a scene with Philip and Moniece where Moniece ends up slapping Philip. I think just out of frustration. I feel like he didn't necessarily say or do anything to really warrant that slap. I think she was just very frustrated with him not giving her straightforward answers. He kind of was in her face a little bit though, but whatever. I mean, he wasn't even cute per se, but when we get to this scene, Moniece says that I guess Fizz put the pressure on Jason, or Jason was feeling the pressure of her sending, you know, her legal team after Jason, and he revealed who it was. Now, just a few scenes ago, you said that when you found out that it was a rapper that had the sex tape, something clicked in your mind and told you that it was Philip. So did something click in your mind, or did Jason Lee tell you? We'll never know. Anyways, just sounds like a lie. One of those isn't true. And I really don't think Jason would reveal a source like that. I mean, that's like the one thing that gossip reporters are kind of good for, is keeping their sources so they don't burn bridges. I don't know. But anyways, Moniece just kept stressing the fact that they were friends, and and then he pulled a Mimi and Nico, saying that he lost the phone and somebody found the phone. The person who found the phone happened to be Jason Lee. Jason got into the phone to figure out whose phone it was and found a sex tape of him and Moniece. Now, in this exchange, we find out that the sex tape was consensual. She did know that she was being taped, and I feel like somewhere along the way we got the idea that she didn't know that she was being taped, which would really make it kind of illegal. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if he was saying that the actual sex was, I don't know if he was saying if the actual sex was consensual or the taping of the sex was consensual. But I think he meant that the taping was consensual. And Moniece really didn't want to hear it, and she just was very upset, and she ended up slapping him, and it wasn't really hard or anything like that. And you know, good thing he didn't come after her, because some men, you hit them one time and they snap. Okay, so you know, good thing he didn't hit her or anything. But Philip just kind of seems like a little bit of a slime ball, the way that he wasn't willing to kind of give her the tape back immediately. But whatever. She asked him something. I can't remember what she asked him, but he said, the last thing he said to her before the camera cut out was like, "You know why?" As in, from what I gather from it, is, do you know why the tape was released, or do you know why Jason had his hands on the tape? Something like that. I don't know really what that meant, but I guess we'll learn more about that, if not this upcoming episode, which is the season finale, and I didn't realize that. But or we'll talk about it at the reunion, which we'll definitely talk about. So next time on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, the season finale, we have Brandy, Princess, and Ray J wrapped up in this little, you know, secret telling ring, where Brandy ends up telling Ray J that Princess wants a prenup, and then Brandy confronts Princess, and Princess is like, "Oh, somebody's getting kicked out of the wedding." You know, what they used to say in elementary school, tell your booty smells. Brandy's stinking right now. Next we have Tiara Marie finally getting a storyline 2 episodes away from the finale. How interesting. Her, you know, realizing her fate and seeing if she's going to go to jail or not. And we have Sonia talking to Princess's mom and grandmother. And you know what? As much as Sonia has a right to an opinion about, you know, the union of Princess and Ray J, I really think that she is kind of overstepping her boundaries when it comes to her talking to Princess's mom and grandmother like that. Like basically saying, "I'm not gonna let Ray J sink on this ship with your daughter, the iceberg." Like, your daughter is the iceberg that is sinking Ray J, the Titanic. And I just really didn't like that. I thought she may have been overstepping her boundaries quite a bit. So thank you guys for watching. I'm here with Home Slice Adulting. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks again. Y'all have a great night.